and welcome to WMSV Channel 8 News. I'm Nadine Metellus.
I'm Alex Blumacher.
And these are your top stories for Friday, November 6, 2015.
Did you know that sharks are fans of death metal music? That's right, sharks are attracted to the genre of music because of the low vibration death metal produces, and it mimics the vibration of struggling fish that emits through the water. The technique of attracting sharks through music is steadily becoming more popular in the field of both shark documentary filmmaking and marine biology. Playing songs through water speakers from music artists such as AC/DC is believed to be safer for the environment and the sharks themselves. With music trackers, can stop using chum and other means of bait, which otherwise harm the environment, and trains the sharks to become more comfortable with people.
This past Halloween, 2 students chose to dress up as the Columbine shooters, which inevitably sent them to a juvenile detention center earlier this week. The students were in the town of Litchfield, Connecticut, which is located less than an hour away from the Sandy Hook Elementary. The students made what they claimed to be sarcastic remarks about shooting up the nearby school. There were no weapons found on either of the boys, but their jokes were taken very seriously. The boys will likely be expelled from school. Their lawyer says they are both, quote, so remorseful for their stupidity, end quote.
30 men and women all over the age of 70 took to the skies earlier this week in an attempt to break the world record. This group tries to break the record for most skydivers over the age of 70 in formation. The only requirements needed to join the group of daredevils was appropriate age and experience. Some members claim to have done over 15,000 skydives in their lifetime. Although the formation was not a success, the group is determined to try again in the near future.
An international cut of the Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens trailer was released with no warning today. The tease can be seen on the Japanese version of the official Star Wars website and includes new images of Rey, played by British actress Daisy Ridley, as well as Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia. The teaser also featured action shots and fresh dialogue. The movie is set to be released December 18, 2015.
On Shaley Hubbs Family Ranch is home to many animals: horses, sheep, goats, alpacas, chickens, dogs, and baby cows. Goliath, who thinks he's a dog, the 8-week-old calf, tags along with the family dogs in their daily activities around the family ranch in Danville, California. It all began when the family rescued the sickly cow from a dairy farm when one of the dogs, a Great Dane named Leonidas, took a liking to the calf immediately. Hubbs has even has been documenting Goliath's puppy-like habits on Twitter, showing how he eats and acts like a pet, just as the other dogs. The cow has learned how to let himself into the house by pushing his head against the doorknob and making himself at home. And just like the real dogs, Hubbs and Goliath is a beloved member of the family, and they plan to keep him around.
While boarding a plane, a young woman was pulled aside because airline officials deemed her attire to be inappropriate for flying. The woman was attempting to catch a domestic flight in India when a number of male employees told her that her skirt, which came just above her knee, would need to be changed before boarding. A fellow passenger, who was a witness to this incident, went to social media to discuss what had happened. The airline, Indigo, confirmed that the incident, but said that the woman was traveling on a family and friends ticket, which required the passenger of stick to the same dress code. That applies to its employees as well. However, a former employee said that the woman was appropriately dressed and shouldn't have been told to change.
Sue Varian Bentley, a 52-year-old Australian grandmother, decided she wanted to go for a nice run in the rain yesterday. She publicly stripped down to her underwear and ran around with a sense of youth. Bentley admitted that the decision came to her after approximately 2 bottles of champagne. When asked about her streaking, she replied, "I think it was a bit of fun. The world is too serious," end quote. Bentley's streaking run was actually a dare made by one of her friends, who stated she had never laughed so hard in her life.
Banksy, the anonymous street artist behind Dismaland, a dark version of Disneyland, has turned his or her eyes on the recent migrant crisis. After only a few months as a tourist attraction, many of the sculptures in Dismaland are being disassembled and the metal is being sent to France, where it will be used to build refugee shelters. Mr. Brainwash, an associate of Banksy, has been speaking to multiple media outlets about Banksy's sudden interest in the migrant crisis. Some have argued that the disassembly of Dismaland is just a quick PR stunt, using the migrant crisis and a business tool. However, many view the move as a genuine and sincere, considering Banksy's identity is anonymous. It is hard to argue that he or she is just looking for attention.
Up next will be sports. For now, I'm Alex.
And I'm Nadine.
We'll be right back.
Sunday Monday is our whole day, and we started off with our version of a Tough Mudder or Spartan race. It's the CMSB, the Leaders Challenge. We had 10 obstacles in our race, and teams of 5 went through it and did it as a relay.
And it was put together by the Sports Business Club, and actually we're hoping to come back next year even stronger and filthier.
Sunday Monday is our whole day, and we started off with our version of a Tough Mudder or Spartan race. It's the CMSB, the Leaders Challenge. We had 10 obstacles in our race, and teams of 5 went through it and did it as a relay.
And it was put together by the Sports Business Club, and actually we're hoping to come back next year even stronger and filthier.
Welcome back to WMSV Channel 8 News. I'm Alex, and we're going to hand it over to sports.
As for sports in the NFL, as for news in the NFL, more specifically our New York Giants, they look to bounce back after a tough loss to the New Orleans Saints last Sunday and play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jason Pierre-Paul looks to make a start in the NFL after an incident involving his right index finger and his thumb during the 4th of July. The New York Giants are trying to figure out whether to use a club or a glove and to figure out which one would be better for him in terms of his advantages and disadvantages on the field.
All right, taking it from football to the real football. what Americans call it soccer. Really big news in U.S. soccer this past week. Abby Wambach recently retired. If you do not know who Abby Wambach is, she's an American hero and legend. She currently holds the all-time leading scoring position for men and U.S. women's soccer team with 184 goals. She has one World Cup trophy this past summer, 2015, in Canada. She has 2 Olympic gold medals, and she's also known as the best female soccer player of all time. Bringing it back to Bronx with New York City FC, this week they just fired their coaching staff, Jason Kreis, as well as their 2 backup coaches. As people know, in an inaugural season, New York City FC had their inaugural season this past fall and spring. They are also an expansion team, as from New York Red Bulls in the MLS. It's very hard for an expansion team to actually succeed in the MLS, so to speak. In the last decade, only one team has made it to the postseason in 2009 with Seattle Sounders. So it has been a lot of controversy in the soccer world and in MLS for the past few weeks. We've been getting many words, many opinions all over the league saying that it's from inside of the league, it's from inside of the team, it's from overseas. As you know, their sponsors are Etihad Airways from Manchester City FC. So it is very back and forth. In my opinion, it's the wrong decision. For an expansion team, their inaugural season, it is very hard to get to the postseason. And it was a very bad idea to fire Jason Kreis.
For news in the NBA, both of our New York teams, the Knicks and the Nets, will be playing tonight. The Knicks will look to bounce back after a loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They will be playing the Milwaukee Bucks tonight, and the New York Nets, who are unfortunately on winless on the season, will be playing the LA Lakers in LA tonight.
Recently, bringing it back to New York sports, the Mets played the Royals in the World Series. Unfortunately, we did not get, as Mets fans, myself and KJ, we did not get the result that we wanted, but we do want to thank the New York Mets for getting to that World Series. They're a hell of a team. They had rookies that performed better than I think any other rookies in the entire MLB. But with experience and obviously years of experience and talent, the Royals were able to take the World Series, but I can't wait till next baseball season. Hopefully we can go back to the World Series and take that back from the Royals. It'd be a great revenge tactic, I guess.
And just to revisit the Abby Wambach.
Yeah.
Abby Wambach has been, here on the field, as everybody knows, but she's just starting to get this notoriety.
Yeah.
She's a avid philanthropist.
Yes, she is.
She contributes to the LGBT community and
exactly.
the health and medical field. So, just now that people are starting to notice that, hey, Abby Wambach, she personifies excellence
Exactly.
herself,
Like we were saying before the show, that definitely has to do with the comparison of men's and women's soccer in the United States and all over the world. As we know, teams like Germany, Spain, Brazil, their women's teams obviously don't get the same, that same popularity as the men's team do, because obviously, let's be real, this is the kind of world we live in. It is kind of sad, but one example is definitely when Abby Wambach broke the scoring record, and when Landon Donovan scored 50 goals. He had a press tour, he had a campaign, he had everything. Meanwhile, it was only 50 goals. That's a really big feat. That's a really big fight. Congratulations to Landon Donovan. He obviously doesn't play for U.S. anymore, but let's be real. When your female counterpart has triple the amount of goals you do, which means at the time she had, I believe, 160, 164. Now she has 184, which is the all-time leading score between men and women's soccer ever. She kind of didn't get the same recognition, and it definitely is something as a woman that I don't like to see, but it's been getting better. Women's soccer in the United States has been getting way better. We just won a World Cup in Canada. We just beat them. We beat Japan. I wouldn't say horribly. Japan put up somewhat of a fight, but 5-2 really isn't. 5-2 isn't a score you want to lose in the World Cup final. You know what I mean? Carly Lloyd, which a lot of people called her our Lord and Savior. She scored 3 goals in 16 minutes. And she's at probably, some people are saying, towards the end of her career rather than the beginning, but she says she feels good. Alex Morgan feeling good after an ankle injury, stress knee injury, MCL. Tobin Heath has been going back to France, midfielder. I feel like our women's game has obviously improved a lot. It's always been good. We just never had that popularization since Mia Hamm and the 99ers were the 99 World Cup winners. So I feel like we finally have that back. So women's soccer in the United States, they're definitely at the point where I'm happy to say that I'm a girl and I played soccer ever since I was little. So I really like that.
The only way is up.
Exactly. Only way is up. Jason Pierre-Paul, that's...
Yes.
As many people don't know, his initial contract with the Giants was between 14.2 and $14.8 million. And now it's between $2 and $4 million. I mean, it is sad that something like that happened to him, but at the same time, you kind of got to take that in.
Understandable.
That's kind of obvious that that's going to happen, that your revenue is going to come down way more. Because now there's a crucial part of your game is completely gone. You essentially kind of have to learn how to catch again. You have to learn how to run again. It is only a thumb, it's only a finger, but at the same time, it does, like you said before, it messes up his stance, messes up how he personally is on the field. It kind of messes with his mindset. Catching the ball, like we saw Odell Beckham Jr. is known for that one-handed catch behind the back. He can't really do stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of sad, but it's all right. And that's all the time we have for you today. Be sure to tune in Monday for more. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. As she said, that's all we have time for today. Be sure to tune in on Monday for more up-to-the-date news. For now, I'm Alex. Have a good night.